Hey everyone, time for another weekly update. This one will be longer than my last. Apologies for the last one. Let's jump right into it. We'll take a look at Bitcoin and the big three. And the big three for me is Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol. We will jump into coins that have been showing relatively momentum on this dump and holding stable. We'll get into a few coins that I have my eyes on for the week. Anything that I give and take will be given in the Discord. This is just a small little recap, all right? So let's take a look at Bitcoin. But first, this is the chart that I went over last time, and it played out almost to perfection. We didn't get the major dump. When I first gave this, we were over here. All right, we had this bearish Quasimodo pattern. Rejection perfectly from the neckline. Again, higher high, higher low, higher high, and then we made that lower low here. So we had the perfect rejection from the neckline in correlation with the 786 fib. And then, we had two news events that happened, right? The first one was a false attempt at Tether being investigated, and then we had the war news, right? So we got close. I mean, this gave, from the entry point that I discussed on my Twitter and the video, about a 5% drop. But new game plan. Okay, so I'm going to just start from scratch here and go over thoughts on the market. So this is where we currently are. Okay, if this was our last higher high, right, lower low, we have broken structure. Okay, even if you're taking this as your last higher low or this one, we can go to a line chart and we see that we have broken structure. All right, so this whole entire uptrend, even if you take it from this one, right, again, whether you take it from here, we have broken structure. Let's go back on the daily and to a candle chart. Okay, so is this going to be another higher or lower high over here? Okay, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs into a possibly new lower low? Or are we going to start flagging? Okay, are we going to start flagging here? Just like we did over here, right? So if we take a look at fractals, this was the last lower high that we broke, right? So this was a break of structure to the upside, put in a higher low, right? And then put another higher high. So are we going to replicate this same exact move? And if we do, right, if we just take fractals, I never know. It's like ghost lines. One sec. Or I think this is it. So if we take this to, let's say, down here, and we put this as such, now this one got a little bit of a deeper retrace, but let's say we don't make that deeper retrace, right? So we have higher high, higher low, right? We go a little bit higher and put in a lower high, lower low, and then put that. So if we do come back down, this demand zone was already taken out. I can see us coming and forming some type of range over here. So let's go back to the 4 hour and mark our range points. Here is our highs, and this is our low. Okay. So if we are talking about our range right here, this is it. We have our mid-range roughly around here. Okay. Demand zone. So 3 areas that we could bounce from. Now remember that 67.2 level is the area that is super ultra gigish, giga bullish. If we stay above it, I expect higher. But you have to be able to identify a range and play that range. Okay, so 3 triggers over here. 1, play range lows. Okay, this limit order that I gave as well in the Discord is still valid. That's 63.6. That is still valid in case we get it. Okay, so first trigger, we don't come down. We just go straight for the highs. Take out the highs. Close below swing failure. You will open up a short and place your stop loss above whatever wick is created. Now that has to happen. Highs have to be taken. Candle closure below. Market short stops above whatever wick is created. Okay, we have to create that SFP. 2, we run the lows, whether it's here or here. I would like for us to still come back down. If we wick below, take out this. We need to SFP, close above the support. You will mark it long with your stop below whatever wick is created. Okay. Or option 3, put in a new lower low. Again, take a look at it from a line perspective. Okay. Highs, lower high, put in a lower low. So this is a line chart. It is not going to show the wicks, but we can still have this scenario and still close above here, putting thus a lower low. That would be your third trigger. Okay. But ideally with these, it's very tough to play them with limit orders. Again, this is only from a trading aspect. If you are an investor, you're not minding, the intraday price action. As traders, you need triggers to go into plays. So 1, 2, putting that lower low into the third trigger. Obviously, we still have this play that I gave in the Discord. I won't be sharing it here. It's exclusively for Discord members. That play is still active. Or show strength here tomorrow on the market open. Ideally, I want Monday's range to form and you play Monday's range, but we just want to see what happens. We are very close from elections. About 10 days out almost. 7, 8, 9 days out. So it's going to be volatile. This whole week is going to be volatile. If you are trading, I recommend going in with smaller positions. Don't want to get blown out, lower that leverage, and use smaller positions. It's going to be volatile up until elections. So again, don't be caught off guard and don't gamble on leverage. All right. So those are the triggers for Bitcoin. Not really in a hurry. Above, I shared my high time frame analysis in my last video, so make sure to watch that. But just looking at this week, this is the range that we have been given. Okay. USDT dominance played out exactly as I said in the last video. We got above the trend line. Okay, we made a push into that supply zone, not as high as I wanted to go, but we rejected, allowing everything to rally a little bit more. But we are still above our main support line here at 5.27. Okay, until we have a breakdown, and this could easily be a breakdown. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we could do a 5 wave. Okay. So if we're going, here's the first, right, into the second, into the third, possibly fourth, and then have a fifth wave down would be great. Otherwise, again, we need to lose this support. If we reclaim the trend line, we will go higher, but it's still putting in lower highs, so it is a downtrend. But this could just be a giant, see, like it looks exactly like this, right? We could be putting in a giant falling wedge type structure, whatever you want to call it, just like we did here. All right, so you have to be mindful of that, because if this plays out like as such, it's going to be bearish for crypto, right? If this is bullish, bad for us. For longing assets, you'd be most likely looking for short setups. But we are below the trend. We have lost it. We have a possible bear flag on lower time frames. Okay. Here is your smaller time frame bear flag, and to be honest, the 8-hour and 12-hour time frames are goated. Okay, everyone's using 4-hour or the daily. 8-hour and 12-hour are in my opinion goated, and that's what I share with my students. So use those. In my opinion, anything higher than a 4-hour time frame, you will get better results. Okay, so that's the brief analysis on USDT dominance. All right, we need this to break down. Now going to BTC dominance. Again, this is bullish. As bullish as it can get. The weekly just closed on this. Okay. I'm not even sure where this pulls back to. We have strong demand here. We would love this to dump, so we rally in altcoins, but we are nearing my 60 to 61%, where I do expect us to reject. We have a supply zone, so I expect us to reject from here and hopefully make our way down. But as long as this trend is intact, it's going to be risk off on most alts until this completely breaks down. Okay. Now, shitcoin Ethereum. All right. Very weak compared to Bitcoin, obviously, and to Sol. Sol has been the strongest coin in the market right now, but Ethereum, with the amount of hate that it's getting and the non-performance that it's receiving or currently doing, this could be an area where it's going to pump. Now we have this descending wedge, right? As long as it's holding the trend line, it's okay for me. I still do think if we get that further push down on Bitcoin, if we go to 62, 63, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I do have those bids there. This, I think you can get sub 2200. Now, the thing with this is, right, it's been in a downtrend this whole entire time. This was the last lower high, right? We actually broke it, but we're still making higher highs here. It needs to hold this trend. So technically, if you are longing here, targeting around 2800-ish, okay, this would be your setup. Okay, so again, I'm in this on spot. My average is currently break even, but entering a long here with stops below the wick targeting 2800 makes sense, right? We had a deviation, fell under. Now, for spot buyers, I think you can get better, profits or your ROI on different coins. This is performing terribly, but I do expect this to have a scam revenge pump. All right. I'm not really interested in long term until this is above this $2,800 level. Flip it back to support. But this would be the scalp attempt if you are taking it. All right. I'm not taking this. I'm already in spot. No need to. I do have bids below 2,100 in case we get it. But this would be your setup. All right. Now, final TPs and TPs on where you want to take it is up to you. But this would be the setup to take. Okay. Now, the strongest coin in the market, Sol, barely flinches when Bitcoin is moving, and that's because Sol BTC is so strong. Okay, we are nearing resistance here, so it could show weakness once we get to resistance, but keep in mind that this is the 8th or 9th time touching this area. We had deviation, 1, 2, cluster there, right? So this is eventually going to break out. And if this breaks out, Sol is going to run on the USDT pairing by a lot. However, we got to take a look at this on a lower time frame. We have a possible double top. Okay, invalidation for double top would be obviously closure above this level here. Okay, clear double top, but this is also a range. Okay, this is your soul range, right? You have an order block. Even on the 8 hour, by the way, you see how we had a bearish engulfing candle here, okay, at resistance. Okay, I'm not crazy. It's an actual resistance line. If this 8 hour, which closes in 3 hours from now, puts another bearish engulfing, I think it's going to go further down. So having bids at the order block here makes sense. Okay, I would honestly start bids around 168 all the way down to 163, and your invalidation would be, okay, it's about a 1.85 R trade, but if all your DCAs fill, it would be like something around here, making about 2.6. Final TPs would come around 164 or 165-ish, or sorry, 184 to 185-ish, all right? And if I were to draw fibs from the lows to the highs, okay, like everything lines up with this area. You have the golden pocket around 166.6 to 165.8. Again, DCAs all the way down to here 163-ish makes sense, right? So that would be your setup to around 185 to 186-ish. Or sorry, 184 to 185-ish. All right. It's a range. You're going to treat it as such. This is showing strength, but again, you can't just market long something just because we are at resistance. You have to wait for the triggers or wait for those orders to fill. Right? So I wouldn't short this here, although this looks like a double top. If you were to short, it would have been only at resistance. Okay. Other places, range lows. If you don't want to take that one, here's your range low play. Okay. Or the next area to look to short, go back on the daily, would be around 184 to about, I gave this in my last video. Okay, you short the highs, resistance all the way to 190, flip of this 185 level, you'll manually cut your position. Otherwise, you're going to play it all the way back down to, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So that's SOL on a micro and slight macro level. Okay. Now, another strong coin holding well on this dip is Doge. Right? Up back to where it was pre-dump, right? Bitcoin was at 69K-ish. Okay, went back down and almost back to where it is, but Doge is literally there. Okay, we are at resistance here, so I wouldn't really go into longs until this is flipped. But I'm not saying we get this dip, but if we do, most likely you'd want to long here. Okay. This did break out, and we did have a clean retest. So this could actually run from here. Draw some fibs. Yeah, anything in my opinion, if you are to get this, I'd possibly long and target that supply zone. Okay. Now, look at this cup pattern. Right, clean cup, clean break above here, and close the daily. This could easily run without getting a retest. So if you are positioned from lower, you can add to your positions. I got the gang in from 12.6 or 12628, so I'm positioned well. Yeah, we're up a nice 15%, but Doge is one that you should keep your eyes out on. Right? So you either play the confirmation of the flip or retest here and target there. Okay, about a 2.7 hour trade. Not bad. And then DCA at the golden pocket. Okay, now if we were breaking this down furthermore, I'm a range guy, so I like my ranges. Let's go and break this down a little bit more. Okay, so here's your range high. And here is your, in my opinion, your range low. Okay, we had a deviation on the sell side here, and then clear resistance. Okay, here is your mid-range. Be a little bit higher. Okay. So again, I would love this demand zone to be filled. Like hopefully wicks into there, but we are close to range highs, so this also makes sense. It's about a 2-hour trade. Okay. Play mid-range and then look for a bounce. Okay, otherwise this is your other range play. I wouldn't short range highs, but again, this is a range, and until it breaks, this is your setup. Now this one I'd probably keep a much tighter stop, because most likely this will stop you out. Okay. So this is your range type of trade. Okay. Mid-range, range low, range high. This, you have about an 80% chance of getting stopped out. You can move your stop loss a little bit higher if you want. Still, 80% chance of getting stopped out. And then the safest one is with this one if we get it. Highly doubt unless Bitcoin nukes. And then this one is about a, 60 to 70%. Sorry, it's about a 30 to 40% risky trade. Okay. And then the last coin that I'm taking a look at currently, the Sol ecosystem is very strong. Okay. Where is it? Everything got rearranged. Okay. So I did sell this coin for a loss, for those following me to Discord, but if you were paying attention to my Twitter, we have a clean Adam and Eve pattern, right, with clear resistance. Breakout and retest, that is a trigger for me to go long. Now this perfectly tapped the demand zone, and when I gave this play to Twitter, folks, we were right here, and I said to play the range. Breakout or play the demand zone. So demand zone filled perfectly, gave a nice, with all DCAs filled, about an 8% move up, 9% move up. Sol ecosystem coins are going to thrive as long as Sol does well, and this along with Pyth, PYTH, Jito are all strong coins. Okay, If Jito can get above this level here, it will fly as well. Okay, this is a clean range on Jito, still range bound. I'd probably, if I were getting long on this, probably something like that. Okay, probably another double top here, falls perfectly with Sol. If we get that 166, maybe this goes to $2.22 and back up to range highs, which at that point I do think it's going to break out. Okay, so that's what I'd be looking to if I were to draw fibs. Probably, yeah, perfect area with the golden pocket bounce. This one, probably take on spot because I would buy all the way down to the support area. So from 224 down to 210. And any daily closures below this level and turn it into resistance, that's when I will manually cut. But with leverage, it's a little bit riskier because you could have these wicks that could go and take this liquidity out. All right, so just be mindful of that. All right. And last but not least, I'm going to share this. I am having a little deposit bonus for those using my referral link. If you do support me and want to use my link, it's in the description below. But these are the terms: deposit and trade, and you get free money from BloFin. All right, so that's it from me. I will catch you guys next week. Thanks, everyone.